morning and welcome to another SLG Meetup. Your host Alvaro to bring you another exciting guest to talk about luxury. In this case, it's going to be very unique because for that we're going to have our friend architect Arthur Mamou-Mani, and the way that he does architecture is so different than what I've used to see. He does, eco-parametric architect with the whole 3D printing, view materials and digital fab. He's well known for his amazing piece of art he did at the Burning Man. It's called the Temple Galaxia, and he's done such incredible pieces of art and construction. So I really like the way that they keep their mantra of changing the world step by step. And for that, we're gonna have him here to explain what he does and how he's redesigning the way that architecture is done. There we go. What's happening, Arthur? How you doing?
Hello, I'm good. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me here.
What's going on?
Yeah, we're in the studio now.
Oh, you're in the studio.
I'm going to take you around a little bit. Yeah.
Wow.
In London.
Incredible. That's where all the magic happens.
Correct. That's it.
Wow, it's very fascinating.
I'll take you around a bit after.
Show me a bit around the studio. Now,
all right, let's do it.
Yeah, and while you do that, tell me a little bit about what we're looking at, and because you do things differently. Every architect has its unique pattern. You have something that differentiates you from everybody else. So I want to hear all about it while we start looking at your studio.
Yeah, 100%. So we're basically two companies, one that is an architectural firm and one that is a fabrication studio. And it's really important for us because generally architects are quite separated from the output of what they make. And so the idea of being able to design and make was crucial to the sort of DNA of the studio. And so we have an architecture studio where we can express our dreams, and then we have a place where we can realize them, but also others. So we opened up to other people, and it's accessible for everyone.
Wonderful, and that's in London where you have based this studio, right?
It's in London. We have opened one in Eastern Europe now, but we are also planning to open some in the US, and we hope that this could allow other people to fabricate locally, so that it's not just we're trying to prevent from shipping and having like all these different problems that comes with carbon.
Right.
And so by 3D printing locally, we're hoping that people can just send files around the world and have things printed locally. Yeah.
That's incredible. Well, listen, you have a home here in Miami, so whenever you want to make that move. But go ahead and show us around. Tell us what's happening. What are those exciting projects?
Okay, cool. Let's do it. I'll do my best. So we keep a lot of these prototypes. So these prototypes are 3D printed using fermented sugar. It's a bioplastic that is compostable. And we do this in all kinds of ways. I don't know if you can see the different gradients. This is using fermented sugar with wood, then with what's called ricin oil or castor bean oil, and then back to the sugar itself. So we play with parameters so that we can create all kinds of natural geometries. This is Galaxia at Burning Man. This is one of the structures that is based on the Fibonacci sequence. We are really inspired by nature in general. Like you can see here at sort of dried cactus that we used for another project that we worked on. We try things all the time, with different materials, seeing how they behave. I'm going to show you the machines because that's quite exciting as well to see operate. But generally, we do what's called parametric design. Parametric design is the sort of ability to switch between parameters so that instead of developing just finished form, we develop systems. So systems that can be adapted, given different criteria like the environment or structure and so on and so forth. You'll see it. Things are kind of mixing up a little bit, but this was what we did for costs in Milan, and a lot of different things. It's kind of like we're a bit like a cabinet of curiosity because we got like tons of stuff lying around that I can show you a little bit more what's possible with the technology. We tend to like let the material do its thing and like learn from all the failures. You know, what sometimes is considered as failure is often something that's quite beautiful. Here you'll see our team.
Great.
Here they are.
Great team, working hard.
Yeah, and working real hard. And then you have some of the modular elements that we're developing with 3D printing. Slowly, as I get closer to the printer, you're probably hearing this roar, and that's pretty much the machine going and doing its thing. So here you go. This is printing. This one is printing. They're making all kinds of weird sounds. So this is printing a facade, and you can hear the sound, right? It's sort of this really peaceful, but a bit kind of repetitive element. And this is a chandelier we're working on at the moment in Edinburgh for Virgin Hotel. So yeah, it's quite nice to be able to bring you around and share stuff. We don't often do it, so.
No, it's incredible, and we appreciate it. I think it's very interesting to get to know how, you know, not only the ideas come to fruition, but how you make those happen. Now, with these machines that you just showed us, what are the parameters? Like, how big can you go?
So you can print about a cubic meter. So you'll probably notice that most of our projects are modular. Okay. We always try and think like how to attach things together. And what can we do with the size that we have? It's already quite big. I mean, a cubic meter can print like, you know, for example, we have stools here that we're printing. Stools that I'm touching here.
Yeah,
the table behind it. Yeah, they've got this really nice motif. And the table that I have behind me, like all of these things are 3D printed with our machine.
So something like that, Arthur, like that table you just showed us, yeah. How long does it take to print?
How do I do it? Sorry?
How long does it take to get printed?
They take roughly like 2 hours to print. We try and like optimize the code. So basically what you send to the printer is a certain kind of code called G code. And it actually is something that you can monitor. It's like a big line, like a big polyline in the computer. Mm-hmm. And so you can measure the length and you can push it so that you use as little as possible. So for example, on these, you know, now on our table, like here, this guy, you see all these really thin lines. What we try and do is to maximize the amount of tension rather than compression so that we can have as little material as possible. And we always do that. We always try and get as little material as is possible, because then we, of course, like print faster, so can build bigger stuff, but also use less material, so it's more environmental.
Right, and then you assemble them together and, you know, get everything. Yeah. Because we're talking about big projects that you've done, like the Temple Galaxia, you showed us briefly over there, but it's on a bigger scale, something amazing. So I obviously, you know, encourage everybody to check out your Instagram page and your website and to follow you, because some of those projects that we're talking about, they're not just like miniatures, they're like taking into bigger scale, and they're phenomenal. So tell us a bit about, for example, that project, Temple Galaxia.
Yeah, so Galaxia was a really, really big project. You're right, probably one of the biggest I worked on. Here it is. It was basically a temple, so a secular temple that didn't have a religion associated to it, but it welcomed everyone. So you had these portals here, and you entered kind of from here. And so the size of the structure was defined by the human. And then as you went in, this was meant to represent like the black hole, you know, in a galaxy. And so it was sort of twisting it and like warping this geometry so that you would start by the portal, the human portal, and then your mind would wander up. And then we had these teardrops here, 3D printed teardrops that went down and kind of united everyone around this kind of central altar or volcano. So it was roughly 60 meters wide and about 20 meters high. Sorry, I know you probably use feet. I'm less familiar with feet.
No,
and that's the man. So
Of course.
So Burning Man has a big axe. So this is the city. So it's a big city of 70,000 people that assemble for a week and then disappear in the desert, you know. And this is the men, and then this is the temple at the other end of the men. So they burn the men here on a Saturday, and then they burn the temple on a Sunday in a quiet, sort of beautiful ceremony. Yeah.
It's impressive. It's impressive. Now, you think that, Arthur, 3D printing as such, you think that's the future? You think that's how more architects are going to get into building their own projects?
Yeah, I really think so. Maybe not just 3D printing, just the idea of being able to send your file to a local space that can actually fabricate locally based on raw materials that are also grown locally. To me, that is a necessary future. It's or at least a future I want to push for, because you know, we're always constrained with products that are shipped all around the world using materials that come from unsustainable places, or you know, working with materials that have a very strong carbon footprint, that are very heavy, that are not very bespoke, not very customized. So when you think of 3D printing, you can customize stuff. You can you know, you can actually adapt things to your needs. You can create again. And so it to me is a necessary future, because it empowers people to make, it enables customization, it makes you print locally things that would otherwise be shipped. You're part of the making, so you're not just designer, you're also maker. So there's so many like benefits to it that, yeah, I really want it to be the future.
That's so exciting. I mean, I'm glad that we got this conversation, because this is something that more people need to be aware of and kind of get into. Because the more that you can work with architects that have that mindset, the more that we're going to be accelerating, going to a more efficient future. I mean, what you're doing is amazing, and I'm really big fan of your project. So I do appreciate you showing us around and explaining. Now, there is another thing that we always ask, and that's the word luxury. It comes in so many different shapes and forms. But what is luxury to you?
To me, luxury is really about taking the right decision and having the ability to take these decisions. For example, we're working on our home with my wife at the moment, and we decided to use only environmental materials. And what that means is that we are doing our research. We're making sure that the materials we're using don't have any, you know, petroleum or cement. And actually, strangely enough, it's extremely difficult to find. And it's a luxury to be able to take that decision. And it's a kind of mindful luxury. It's a luxury that is also very informed and very involved. It's not the kind of luxury where we just purchase. It's a luxury where you actually get into what it is that you're purchasing. You become almost like a prosumer rather than just a consumer. And I think, yeah, that really, for us, it's the ultimate luxury, because it means that we can give back, you know?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that you define it very well about mindfulness. You know, everybody might see luxury in so many different ways, but mindfulness, what keeps you, you know, grounded and understand the purpose behind anything that you do, is really what fulfills your soul and that allows you to give to others. So, well said. I couldn't agree more. And I know you are a busy guy. You have so many projects going on. You have your team back there working hard. So I wanted to just wrap this up by asking you if there is anything else that you would like to share.
You know, I would really love to come see you in Miami. We have some exciting opportunities. At the moment, we're really looking at if the biomaterials we're using can be used for facades, can we use for, you know, a sort of external architectural elements. So bear with me on that. This is our research. These are the materials we're developing and potentially near you. And so I hope we'll get to speak again in front of a build rather than in my studio in front of a building that we would have built with that technology. So I can't say too much, of course, but this will be the next exciting thing, I think.
Well, I'm sure it's gonna happen. We're here for you. Anything you need, you come with us. And yeah, that's such an exciting future that lies ahead for us. So thanks again for your time, for opening up the doors and all your knowledge. And for those that are watching this now or later, please make sure to follow Arthur. What he's doing is incredible. And not just he's a super talented architect, but he's also an amazing human being. So I do appreciate your time again, and I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you very much, Alvaro. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.
Oh, wow. Bye.